we talking about today, Alexis?
We're gonna talk about sluts
Sluts. Being super sluts and minor sluts and little bitch sluts.
and schizophrenic sluts.
And paranoid sluts. Horrible. Okay.
All right, I can look at my notes. According to my notes, what I wanted to talk about.
On an iPad, that's cool shit. I legit am old school. I brought a fucking notebook, bro.
My shit is blank.
My shit is in a notebook. Okay. So what the fuck do I have?
Somehow my notes are not in here. So we're gonna go with you, John.
All I have is intro. Don't do it. Just go right into it. That shit's funny. No, I'm kidding. I have some topics I was writing down. It was about fucking Andrew Huberman's
Fucking
beautiful lab, what is it? Fucking Huberman Lab podcast shit. All right, so we all know that Andrew Huberman has informed us about our dopamine levels.
He's a god.
He's amazing.
The neuroscience god.
Fucking that dude made this motherfucker. All right, so that dude made braids fun. We all know this. Now
we said that second episode.
We did, and then I also want to talk about how the dopamine kind of like the peaks, how it goes up and down when you're really happy about shit or when you're motivated, when you accomplish shit, and then it kind of drops below baseline after that celebratory state. Drops below baseline, and you kind of gotta like guard your dopamine like receptors and shit to keep it steady because you don't want to keep getting high because it's like a roller coaster. The keep higher it goes, the deeper it's gonna go down on the decline because what goes up has to come down, right? Am I on the right track here?
You're kind of on the right track, yes.
All right, so please. All right, correct me. Please correct me right now.
I will stop you when you're wrong.
All right.
When I'm like, that's not right.
For sure. Anyway. So I associated that, or at least I took that as having what we perceive as good days and bad days. You know, there are good days where you have cool shit happen to you, flirting with girls, fucking, you're
somehow
in the zone.
You feel like you can do anything.
Exactly. Yeah. You're just feeling great.
Right.
You know,
right.
Anything you can do, you have high energy for, positive feelings, just all cool shit, right? And then somehow during the day, it could be the next day, you know, I had a fucking rough day, you know? It's like, shit. I'm irritated.
Yes.
People are pissing me the fuck off. Stupid people driving in traffic and shit. You know who you are. Bitches. Anyway, fucking assholes like that, man. And you associate that with having a bad day. And then all those little things, that's also a thing you could, you know, say that's all based on perception. But generally speaking.
Which it is, but we're talking about
generally how you experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's still your perception.
Yes. Anybody who experiences a fuckload of bad shit is generally going to have a bad attitude. It takes a fucking saint to not have that.
Not always.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. There are those, I'm saying, saint-like people who have the patience of a saint, like I'm saying, who just have that positive outlook on life. Like, you could try to fuck with this. Oh, my dog died. Oh, I got a flat tire. Still a good day. At least I'm alive. Those people, fucking right on to you, bro. Like, you guys have a great mentality.
For me, I'm mostly like that.
Right.
And every once in a while, I'll catch myself like...
tripping, right? Slipping.
Fuck. Leave me alone. Do your fucking job, dude.
Would you call those bad days, though?
Those are not bad days.
No?
No, they're just not good days. That's how I see it.
All right, so what would you say is a bad day, then?
Like, I find out that I'm sick in a way that I can't cure. That's a bad day.
That is a bad day. Okay. Terminally illness. That's a bad day. Where the fuck is my... Okay.
Beyond that, I don't think anything's necessarily bad. So that's why I put the baseline for bad days. So anything besides that, good day.
Interesting. So it has to be a really shitty fucking day for it to be considered a bad day. But everything else that's not minorly inconvenienced is
I can
somewhat
do
a good
about
day.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And there's the dopamine, like Andrew Horner, he tells you one way to make sure that your dopamine levels are
guarded, right?
Basically, you can say guarded, but like attenuated.
Ooh, further elaborate. What does attenuated mean?
Like well tuned.
Okay, so well balanced and shit.
Yeah, tune in the way that it works.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? And he's like, well, if you start with something hard, everything else is easy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, for one example he does is, like, do a cold bath. 5 minutes. And your body will release cortisol, adrenaline, dopamine.
5 whole minutes in... It has to be a bath?
No, just freezing cold shower at least.
Okay.
It's hard. I can do that. That's hard.
It's hard, but you can do it.
It's a safe, hard thing.
Really quick. I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you do take a shower, is it you start off with warm and then go right into cold, or is it do you start that motherfucker as cold as shit and you stand?
What do you think is harder?
I think right off the bat is harder.
So
just do that. Instant cold.
It's all about It's all about doing something that's hard in a safe way.
Right.
Because for you logically know it's safe, but your body doesn't necessarily listen to that because it still will trigger the fear or the all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I experience it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So your body gets uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're in the shower that's amazingly cold, or you can go in the cold outside if it's amazingly cold,
Right.
without a shirt.
Is it your mind, really quick? Is it your mind that feels uncomfortable, or your body?
Well, your mind doesn't necessarily can feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
But your body does, because you're not thinking, I want to get out of this shower, because you went in the shower on purpose.
Right, but your mind wants to quit, though. I'm talking about when your mind wants to quit.
That's
this is cold.
That's your body, because you have the up down and down up.
Right.
So up down is you talking to your body, or you calming yourself down by breathing.
Right.
Or you trying to calm yourself down by talking yourself into a calm state, because you're like, I'm freaking out, but you can
and
be
that's
like,
in
stop
out, right?
being a bitch.
That's that out in.
That's down. That's up down.
That's up down.
Goes from the mind to the body.
Bottom. Okay, mind to the body.
And
up,
then
down.
when you go into the shower, it's from the body to the mind. So your body starts telling you, get out the shower, dude. It's fucking freezing. You don't want to be in here.
Yeah.
But you're like, I came in here on purpose, bitch. You know what I'm saying? So you're like,
So I got it twisted.
so you're going in the middle, you know? So you're like, your body's like, get out. And you're like, no, this is safe.
Yeah.
I'm in a stressful situation in a safe way. So I'm going to stay in here.
Yeah.
And that, he's like, if you get in that shower in the morning, your adrenaline level will go up, your cortisol will go up, and your dopamine will steadily, for the rest of the day, not just that cold shower. So as soon as you get out of that cold shower, the rest of the day, your dopamine will slowly go up with just what you want. And then it'll just gradually go down. You know what I'm saying?
So it won't be spiked to where
the spikes
it'll
are the
cause
problem.
a hard fall. Spikes
Yeah,
are the problem.
the spikes are the problem. That's why drugs, like cocaine, meth, big problem.
Porn.
Porn can do that too.
Porn can do that too.
Anything that does that, it's a quick release. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So cocaine will do that, because then it goes super high peak.
Yeah.
Like 10 times. You know what I'm saying?
I imagine. I have friends that do that shit.
Yeah, and then I think meth goes 100 times higher than the.
Oh, I bet, bro. That probably fries the fuck out of the dopamine receptors.
Yeah, and then your body's like, what happened, bro?
Right.
Like, I can't reach that ever. So now you're addicted, because the way to gain that level of dopamine has just been narrowed.
Yeah, you got to take more and more to get to that basic level.
Not just
where it
more
took
and
the
more,
first time,
it's
right?
just that's the only thing that could give you that level. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, because that shit shoots so high, that's the only thing that's potent enough for you to feel the same kind of level of
and your
feel
body
good,
your body is seeking that now.
Right.
So it's like you're not gonna feel that sense of motivation or I can do anything unless you take the drug. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
rad.
So that's what addiction. That's what Andrew Herman says. Addiction is the narrowing of what gives you dopamine.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, that's why you're addicted to coke, because nothing else is gonna give you that level of dopamine. You're addicted to meth because there's nothing that will reach that level.
That makes sense, dude.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
So he's like, do a cold shower at the beginning of the day because it's hard and it's safe for the most part. Of course, you can die if you overdo it.
Of course, hypothermia and shit's not cool. Don't do that
Don't be
shit.
stupid.
Don't be
Just
fucking
don't be
stupid.
You know? So he's like, do that, and then it will slowly go up the rest of the day, and then it will just calm down, and you don't even feel it. You just somehow feel motivated to do something.
Really?
Because it's so slow. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is with most of the chemicals in your body. They're supposed to slowly go up and slowly go down.
So, quick question. In our profession, do you take a shower in the morning, or do you just wake up, come to work? That's what I do. I wake up and go to work. It doesn't make sense to shower twice after you put in a hard day's work, come home, shower again, right? So is it for us?
You could go in there for 5 minutes and get out.
That takes incredible willpower. I'll try that.
That's
honestly,
part of it,
I'll
though.
say to myself, I promise myself, I'll try it.
That's part of it, though. You know, the willpower aspect. You know, it will be even that part specifically will be built because your body's telling you get out, and you're like, nope.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm safe here, and it's hard. It's like I'm safe and it's hard and it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why he's like, if you're gonna do anything that's like that, like dopamine wise, you want to go to the best way to practice anything like that is to go somewhere where you know it's safe, but you know you're gonna feel like
a little bit stressed,
like
challenge, right?
like you want to go,
right?
But you're like, no, it's safe, it's okay.
Oh, so uncomfortable.
Yes.
And that makes you a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, like let's say somebody's antisocial or they have social anxiety, and they're like, I'm trying to fix that, and they're like, well, you're gonna have to go out.
So
to a bar,
maybe a debate. Like, say someone's uncomfortable with personal confrontation, you go take them to a debate, so that way they get comfortable with arguing in a calm,
because they know
environment.
nobody's gonna come at him.
Right.
That like a debate is the safest way to actually have an argument.
Yes, perfect.
It's that literally what a debate is. It's just a safe way to have an argument.
And it's mediated. That way it's like, yo, this is getting too hot. Y'all need to calm down.
That's why we don't call it arguments. We call it debates. It's a different word for it for that reason.
Yeah,
so it's the same thing like if you're like social anxiety, you go to a place where there's a lot of people.
Like a
library. A safe way. That would be perfect because they're not talking to you.
Yeah, it's quiet, it's level.
And they're there to study. They're there to be on their own with everybody.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's first level. But then now you got to go to like a conference where people are networking.
Well, I would say like a restaurant, maybe, right? I would say like a restaurant because people are still kind of talking, but they're still to themselves. Like second level, That would be second level. And then I guess third would probably be
just keep going
mall,
like that.
You know, like a mall somewhere more, I guess, where people are more like dense in population or like, you know, there's a lot more people around. So that makes sense.
And then eventually you just go to places where people go to talk. And then, and then if you really want to like extend it, just go and become like some type of speaker and be like, hey, can I give a talk? Even though you might be like, I really don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Be like, well, you're going to do it. Because nothing's going to happen. We're all here knowing that you're going to do it for that reason.
Right.
You know, there's conferences like that they're like, so people come here because they have social anxiety. And they're like, well, you're going to go up there and you're going to talk. And you know we're not going to judge it because we're all here for the same reason. Right. You know? But they're still going to feel like they're being judged. You know what I'm saying?
We all do.
Exactly. But then the more you do it, it goes away. You know what I'm saying? And then the dopamine is slowly, instead of being super low because you're like, I want to leave, it will slowly just become like, shit, I want to do it now.
Because you're more comfortable, right? Because you're more comfortable with yourself. It kind of just goes up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the reward is the fact that you feel uncomfortable, but you're willing to be here and deal with it. That's a reward. Right. Like he always says too also, instead of having outside sources of rewards, have mental rewards. Where you're like when you edit a video and you're like, bitch on the shit. Yeah. Like that. You know what I'm saying? Facts. It has to be from inner monologue. And that's why you can like give yourself a reward. And it motivates, you're motivating yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Instead of having somebody like, hey, John, you're doing a great job. You don't even need that. No, but it's cool that you get that. Yeah. You know, so you have both. But you don't want to depend on the outside one. You know what I'm saying? You want to depend on your inside one, which is cool.
That's very fucking cool, actually. I was thinking about, like, fucking what happens when you pretty much, like, say I finished the video, and then I'm like, fuck, that actually took a while. You just start thinking about the process, how long it took. Right. Fuck, that took forever. Like, do I really want... You're kind of reluctant to start again, but you're fucking addicted because you're like, that was fun.
And you learn a bunch of shit, and you're like, I can do this.
That's you're a little reluctant to learn about this shit because it's unknown territory. You don't know anything about it, so you're like, fuck. I feel incompetent. That's the word for me. That's the worst fucking feeling. I hate feeling incompetent, no matter what it is.
And when Andrew Huberman and Jordan Peterson were talking about that, and that one in the one podcast they both talking.
Yeah, I love that one by the way. It's fucking dope podcast. Fucking
great.
It's great.
It's right here. I'll post it. I'll be like,
it's right fucking right there, bro.
And then they're talking about how if you acknowledge that learning is supposed to do that, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be stressful because your brain doesn't learn when it's easy. Right. And it's like, just specifically, he's like, you want to instill that in your kids. Because you know how you're like, I fucking hate that. Yeah. If a kid does that, they won't do it. But then you got to be like, that's what learning does. If you want to learn it, it's supposed to feel stressful because your brain doesn't know. Otherwise, to learn it. You know? Because if it's easy, you already know it probably. You know what I'm saying? And if it's stressful and you keep on doing it, the brain is like, we have to learn it to deal with it. If not, there's no other way. You know what I'm saying? Right. And if you teach your brain to know that, instead of just trying to get away from it, or
running away from it, yeah, being more like
dealing with it. Yeah.
Fuck, procrastinate. Don't fucking procrastinate. Right, that's what it's called. That's where it comes from, I guess. So, but just enjoy the addictiveness of knowledge, bro. It's addictive, bro. All these fucking times and podcasts and shit you've been fucking sharing me. Hey, bro, check this out. Hey, bro, check this out. Bro, comes back 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, so much, yeah.
Fucking mind blown, bro.
Because you learn one thing and then you learn another thing and you're like, no shit, those 2 things together is fucking like, what?
Oh,
because
it's
then
connected.
yeah, it's because I listened to so much Sadhguru, and then I was like, he really knows the way his body works from experience. But you also want to have the scientist view, where they don't just learn from experience; they learn from experiments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now they know how an objective view of the body instead of an subjective view.
Yeah, like
Because
your
Sadhguru
own
is
versus
fully subjective.
one's.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, I learned my body, so I can teach you how your body works.
Right.
And then the scientists are like, we know how a bunch of bodies work.
We know how the blood circulates.
Yeah.
We know how the blood pumps arteries.
Right.
It's like they know it. It's just they. Well, I mean, they are basing it off their own stuff, but that's conversation.
But they're studying bodies,
right?
Like not their own, because you can't open yourself.
Yeah, the conclusions are based. They come from the experiments, not from.
It's analytical.
Analytical, right?
Yeah, which is it's both to have both. Because if you just have the experience, and you don't learn the other one, it's hard to teach others. Unless you're like fully articulate. Like Sadhguru can do it, but then even once in a while you're like, I get what he's saying, but I don't think I can do that.
So he makes it relatable in a sense.
You have to. Yeah.
You have to make it relatable in order for them to like get some kind of common ground.
It has to make sense. Yeah. Because if it doesn't make sense and he says some shit that's super mystical, which he can, but he's like, if you say something super mystical, only the mystics know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta make it so that idiots can understand too.
You could call them idiots.
I'll call them an idiot.
But it's like,
I'm an idiot.
It's just an ignorant person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he brings up that he's like, ignorance is bliss. But he never was. He's like, they took that from us, from India. And they brought it to the U.S. And they're like, it's better not to know. That's why it's used here, right? But in India, they say ignorance is bliss because they identify with what they don't know instead of what they do know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the reason is because what you know is infinite and what you don't know is unlimited.
Wait, what did you say?
I said the opposite. What you know is limited and what you don't know is infinite.
Is infinite. Okay. I'm like, well, what the fuck did you just say? That can't be right. Yeah, I know I knew what you meant though.
So he's like, you'll feel better that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you feel more. It's like you're not meant to know everything,
right?
Is that right? Like, because we don't know what the fuck created space. We don't know what created the stars.
It's better to be comfortable with what you don't know than to be comfortable with what you do know.
Why is the sky blue? Why the fuck are we the only planet that's positioned just so? You know, like
I know
why
the sky is blue, but I don't know the positioning kind of too. But
yeah,
it's
you know everything, bro.
I like figuring shit out.
This guy fucking knows his shit, bro.
But like Sadhguru is cool because of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He really knows that shit. And then Andrew Huberman is cool because he
knows that shit too.
He knows it, like chemistry, biology, neurologically. It's like we have to know that. But he still doesn't. It doesn't mean that he knows how to use his body all the way.
Because he's still figuring shit out.
Right. He's still like talking to others to make sure he knows. Like when he talks to Jordan Peterson is also kind of like Sadhguru, but he's also like examining other people's minds.
He's very analytical.
Yeah, but in the same way, he's analyzing himself as well. So he's like, I know how I work, so I can go inside of your mind and tell that this is here, and this is what's not letting you be yourself.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
So and those are based off of his own experiences.
Yeah, because he's been through shit.
Yeah, I bet.
Because he, like, even if you see his old videos, he's fat.
Is he really?
He's fat. He's out of shape. And you, being a smart guy like him, you only get to that point because something's going on.
Yeah.
And then he was also addicted to benzos. And
what are those?
It's like Xanax.
Oh.
Those kinds of drugs.
Okay.
And he got super addicted to the point that he thought he was gonna die. And then he went through a bunch of shit. And that was recently where he barely got off him like 4 or 5 months ago. But he lost hella weight. And then his daughter took him somewhere outside the country because they wouldn't treat him here properly. And a bunch of shit happened. But he been through it. So now he can come back going through all that shit and be like, even a guy like me that's been through it, it knows everything for the most part, like psychology was.
Right.
It still fails, like, falls into the straps.
Oh, you know yeah. Even he's not perfect.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, like, Andrew Huberman has another, like, his senior advisor that he basically worked for to become a PhD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think I remember him talking about that when he was talking to Jocko about, like, himself.
Yeah, he was talking to Jocko about it. And then, but she committed suicide.
Whoa.
Right. And she's basically the person that taught Andrew Huberman. And so she knows all this shit. She knows about depression, anxiety, dopamine, serotonin, everything that has to do with that.
She fell prey
And
to
even then, dude. So he's like, nobody's safe.
Rest in peace, bro.
Exactly. Like, nobody is safe. You know, there's only so much you can do. Because even if you know this knowledge, doesn't mean you're applying it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's all about application. That's why he's so honed in on that. He's like, I am going to tell you how it works. But I want to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Like how to apply this information. I don't just want to leave it off as it's good to know.
Yeah.
No. He's like, it's good to know and apply
and do something about it. Yeah.
Because if not, that's what happens. You know, you just know shit and you don't apply it, and you end up in traps. You know what I'm saying? Like depression and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he's been through it. Also,
shout out to that. Yeah, go read his book, 12 Rules of Life. It'll probably change your life. Have you read it? I haven't read it.
I listened to it.
Oh, you listened to it?
Yes.
Where'd you listen to it?
Where?
Fuck.
Audible. Amazon.
I keep hearing about that. I probably should have fucking downloaded that.
If you want to listen to books, yeah. But there's only so many books that are like
that are worth listening to.
Yeah, because you can listen to Jordan Peterson on his podcast.
Facts.
And he has also lectures. He was one of the first people that started putting lectures.
Oh, really?
On YouTube. There's literally a Jordan Peterson channel that teaches you so much shit. I haven't even told you about that. You should look that.
I should have been fucking eager enough to go check that shit out myself.
Yes.
I feel incompetent.
So he has so much shit. Like he talks about the Bible, and then he tells you like what it actually is supposed to mean.
Yeah. Not
like Jesus walked on water and there was a God that legit walked on water, dude. And
turned water to wine, dude.
It's that shit. He's like, those are all metaphors, okay? And he's like, this is what that metaphor most likely meant. And then
so it's all speculation. It's not like
it's not
this
speculation.
is what that means.
It's not right. He's from what he knows.
Yes, from his perspective and what he can narrow down as far as he goes. Right.
He's like, well, walking on water.
Yeah.
He's like, water.
I don't know if you can do that.
Exactly. He's like, he always knows that because let's say you're reading something like that. That's an ancient book or an ancient text. And they say something outlandish like that. Like, some dude walked on water. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, I've never seen that. So that's supposed to happen. That people don't just walk on water. He knows that. So he's like, so what could it have actually meant? And then he's like, well, water is usually what they mean by the emotions. So emotions are correlated with water symbolically. And he's like, since Jesus was walking on it, what does that mean? He's like, he legit could handle his emotions perfectly. That's what it means. You know what I'm saying? Or turn water to wine. That has another symbolistic metaphor in there.
Which is?
I don't know. Go listen to Joe Peterson.
For sure. Yeah. I don't fucking know, bro.
So everything that's like that is like, you're like, that makes zero sense. That's not a thing. He's like, think about it as a metaphor and try to figure it out that way.
Use your big brain.
Exactly.
Big brain status.
And he knows that because he knows it's a story. The Bible is a story. And he knows all about stories. He knows about archetypes and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, this is where I'm coming from archetypes. You know what I'm saying?
Archetypes, dude.
Knowledge.
Psychological
knowledge in this
That was fucking a trip, dude. I fuck with it. Alright.
You know, so what's I? You know when you say I?
I. Me? The perception of yourself.
Right, but what is that? When you say I, okay? You
are representing, well, you're putting your perspective into your point of view, are you not? Or are those the same thing? Those are probably the same thing. How could I word that better? You're manifesting like your point of view, I guess. Like you're putting yourself there to be like, hey, I'm explaining that I'm talking about me, basically. When you say I,
right? But when you say I,
right,
and not talking to anybody else, what is the I?
You're talking about the eyeball? Like, what the fuck?
The I. Like when you say me, what's that? Me.
Whoa, yeah, me. Like what I think.
What do you mean? Is
my personal identity?
Is it your body? Is it your conscious? Yeah, exactly. Your personal identity.
Yeah.
Well, your identity. What are you identifying? What are you identifying with?
Your physical features, I guess. The features of which you project. I don't know. You could identify with your mind if you wanted to, but basically, I guess.
Right.
You're going off of what you perceive yourself as. Are you not?
Right. Yeah. Because you know what a nihilist is.
Yeah, someone who... No, actually, I think I do. What is a nihilist?
Well, tell me what you think.
All right, I think a fucking nihilist is like somebody who has like a morbid point of view on kind of everything because they know like life is meaningless. We're a fucking speck within a speck of a billion fucking possible outcomes and a billion stars and billion planets with space ever expanding. So I think Dr. Strange put it best: a momentary speck within an indifferent universe. So like
that is a sense of a nihilist.
a sense of a nihilist, right? So I'm on the right track. I always knew I was, but
like for me,
as
when
far
people
as the exact definition.
Yeah, for me, I don't know the exact definition, so I might tell you what I think it is before I look it up.
Okay.
So we both have opinions.
Put that shit, flip it over, so that way you don't look at the definition too soon.
Alcohol.
There you go.
But usually a nihilist has to do with what happens after you die, because religion is all about that. Mm-hmm. And nihilist is just a philosophy of what happens after you die.
Mm-hmm. Nihilism.
Right, and it's what they think is that nothing happens.
You just black.
Exactly.
Because you can't experience after you die, right?
Yeah, because your body is where the experience is held.
Right.
Without a brain, you can't have memories. Without eyes, you can't see.
Right.
Without a nose, you can't smell.
You lose all of your senses.
So
and you lose,
so Sagura is always making fun of people.
Why?
He's like, oh, you wanna go to heaven with your 99 virgins? Mm. He's like, you don't have a penis, you don't have a body. How are you gonna fuck him?
That's funny.
You know. So he's like,
how you gonna fuck him?
And he's always, he's always like, who wants to go to heaven? And then they're all like, and he's like, who wants to go to heaven? I'll bless you right now. You know, he's like, if you think there's a heaven, why don't you kill yourself right now and go to heaven?
Jesus, that's kind of horrible.
Right, but that's how you get them to think.
Right,
because like if it was so true, why don't you just kill yourself now and just go to heaven, dude? Because here sucks, apparently.
Here sucks.
You're saying it sucks. You don't want to be here. Yeah, but you're
not supposed to kill yourself, dude. God said no.
Exactly. There's all that bullshit that starts playing out. And he's like, but if heaven is there, don't you want to go there now? Why wait?
Right. Well, it's like because in my case, what I would answer is people see it as like a paradise, like a reward, like for living a good life. Generally speaking, don't fucking come at me wrong. Generally speaking.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Exactly. You are a good person. You do good things. Go to heaven. You are a piece of shit. You are a fuck up. You go to hell.
Right.
Generally speaking.
Right.
Generally speaking, bro.
This is not all absolute.
This is not all absolute, bro. Fucking generalize, bro. Read it right here. Generalize.
But when he says that, he's like, you don't do it. You don't kill yourself right now and go to heaven because you're not sure.
Because you're skeptical yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's like, if you actually did, you'll be those guys that kill themselves by drinking the Kool-Aid. Because they're like, we're about to go to the afterlife, dog. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Some people start
drinking poison Kool-Aid.
Yeah, some people start like a cult. And they're like, we're about to go, dude. So we're all going to go together. We drink the juice and we all die. And then we go to the afterlife and we're good. You know? And those people become very sure. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about, but that is a completely foreign concept to me. I have no idea how that would work. I understand it happens, but that just is so
people don't usually do it because they have this tiny amount of doubt that they're like, what if it doesn't? And I just killed myself and then
I deprive myself of all this life.
Exactly.
It's the fear of missing out aspect that runs all within us humans.
So now, exactly, fear of missing out, dude. So now I'm going to look up what nihilism is.
All right, yeah. Time for the definition of nihilism. Nihilism.
Nihilism. So a nihilist is a person who believes that life is meaningless and rejects all religious morals and principles. So it's godless. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Wait, would you call that godless? Because he opposes all religions and what else does it say?
It rejects all religious and moral principles.
Oh, moral principles and as well.
Religious, yeah.
Moral principles as well?
Religions have to do with God, you know?
Yeah.
And if there's no God, there's no morals. God's who's keeping you in check.
Exactly. The morals are the standard for upholding,
right?
Like, I guess the deity's standards.
Yeah, a lot of people need God because if not, they don't have morals. And some people are
they have
like
a standard. That's a standard,
right? And they're like, a lot of people don't need God, and they still have morals because they're like, I don't want to hurt you. Just like I don't want you to hurt me.
Yeah.
And that's another way.
Right.
But like, there's the people that think that the blackness happens after they die. It's just the people that identify themselves with the body. Because if the body dies, they're not there anymore.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why it's a black.
That's why they identify with the body. Because once you die, it decomposes.
If your body's dead,
nothing.
Right. But Seguro he's like, everything you gather can be yours, but can never be you. Okay? Okay? So we're going to go through
Everything you can gather
can be
yours, but can never be you.
Yes. So then you start discounting everything you've gathered throughout your life. Okay?
Talking about material possessions or knowledge.
Everything you gather can be yours, but it can't be you.
Holy shit.
So
that's a trip.
It's right. It's the way to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? So then he's like, okay, so we're gonna go through it. Okay, so you were born. Okay, and your body was gathered. Okay,
right.
How?
Sex.
One way.
Fucking.
That's how your body was. That's the
Conceived,
start.
right?
Yeah, that's the conception. Yeah.
Right.
But how it was built is through food.
Okay.
So
nourishments and
your food. Yeah,
eating.
you grab matter from the outside, you put it in your mouth.
Okay.
And your body's built.
Okay.
So you're gathering your body. Okay.
Right.
Everything in your mind is memories.
Recollection of experience.
So that's gathered. Okay. And just like clothes. Like that's the same thing as clothes, because you gather clothes. You can wear the clothes, but the clothes isn't you.
Kind of is, but it kind of isn't. I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, but it's not you.
Yeah.
It's yours. That's why you say kinda.
That's why.
But it's not you.
Right.
That's why it's kinda still.
That skin is not made from your DNA. That skin is not like.
Right.
Okay.
So he's like, take away everything that's gathered, and that's where you are at. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
No, there's
Right.
something gathering everything, John.
But you just said take away everything that you gather, and you just said take away your body, take away your fucking.
That's all gathered.
Exactly. So you said take that away, nothing's left.
What's gathering?
What do you mean?
Something's gathering everything. Something's putting everything together. Something is being taken and becoming yours. Something is
in
there.
what context?
Well, specifically
throughout existence. Are you saying that's a consequence of existence? Then isn't it?
Right. So he's like, if you identify with your body, you're trapped. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're your body, and you're very limited. You know?
Right.
So, like, for example, people that are the nihilists, for the most part, they do identify with their body. So after they die,
they think
that yeah. But even if you think that's what happens, it doesn't matter, because what happens after you die is just what happens after you die.
Pure speculation at this point. Nobody knows what happens after you die.
No matter what you think.
Except for what's his name, Rabbi something or other. His interesting perspective on.
He doesn't know either, but it's.
I know, but that his perspective is interesting, and I still have yet to hear it.
Yeah, there's things that are there's beliefs that are beneficial, or things, the ways that you think that are more beneficial than others. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And to some people, being a nihilist benefits them because now they don't have to worry about getting punished by God.
That's kind of fucked, but I see what you mean.
Right, and there's the other ones that see it the opposite way. There's like, no. If I work for God, God will hook me up. That's more powerful. That's how they see it. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting. I don't know if that's correct either, but I see what you mean.
Right, but most people go through the period of identifying with their body. You know, that's why there's the ego and all this stuff. But then there's a period where they realize they're not just their body, because they're their family as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are your family too. That's when basically, he's like, once you have a kid, you realize that they're you, and your sensory senses are with them as well. Like, if they die, you get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's like, that doesn't happen if you're not, if they're not part of you. You know? Like, nothing can hurt you.
Isn't that defined through attachment though?
Well, attachment is another way of them becoming you, because attached.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he's like, anything that can hurt you is part of you, you know? So some people can hurt others because they don't see them as part of them. It's literally that simple.
Wait. You said anything that can hurt you is part of you, right?
Yes. So anything, like, if I hurt something and it hurt, like, let's say, the best example is the kid. Like, if you have a kid, if they get hurt, it hurts. It physically hurts you. Like, you will start crying and all this shit. Like, it feels like pain. You know what I'm saying?
Seeing your kid get hurt?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, okay.
He's like...
Not trying to sound like a heartless piece of shit, but I'm just saying, I don't know if it, like, legit makes you feel like I'm in pain, but
it
makes you feel sad.
No.
Talking about your own child?
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably why, because I do this shit with my nieces all the fucking time.
It's like your niece, yeah.
It is, but that connection is not as prominent. I feel it because, like, the sense of having your own son is different. I've had a dream about
very
this.
different,
and that experience, I can tell, has nowhere near the effect that I have on my nieces because that sense. Even when I knew in my dream I was experiencing it, bro, this is a strong ass connection. Like, this is my child, and there is that. So I guess I can't speak on that too soon because I'm not a parent yet. So we'll say that
it changes. It changes stuff. Yeah. So he's like, when people identify with this little aspects, they're able to hurt others because they're not part of them. You know what I'm saying?
They're not part of them in the sense of like
if I hurt you, it doesn't hurt me, so we're separate. You know what I'm saying? Like you're you. Right. So now I can hurt you and it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
You know? But he's like, if everybody identified with everybody,
like you are me and I am you,
and like, now I can't hurt you because I'm hurting myself.
Yeah, that's actually cool as fuck.
So he's like, he's like in his religion or his philosophy, he's like, we identify with the whole universe. That way, there's no need of like, should I do this? And it's a bad thing, you know? Because like, no, I'm not gonna do it because if I do it, obviously it's like putting my hand on the stove and hurting myself. You know what I'm saying?
But listen to what you just said. You're using logic as well as experience in that aspect.
Right.
Because you know, based off of experience, touching your fucking hand is going to leave a fucking burn. And logically speaking, you don't want to fucking burn your hand by touching a hot stove.
Right.
So
he's like, identify with everybody being you so that you don't have to think about, should I do this bad thing or not? Oh,
so it's like an unprecedented like a bias almost.
Yes.
Like
it's a good bias.
Good bias.
Because the bad bias will be like, you're not part of me, so I can do whatever I want to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he's like, you have to identify with the whole universe. That's why they're like, we're all one. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But you have to have the experience of you being one with the universe. Because just acknowledging it through logic doesn't work. Mm-hmm.
You forget it. You have to legit have cause to feel it.
Yeah, right. You have to feel it.
Same principle with why fear makes you remember shit. You know, it's like there's shit, I feel fear. You're afraid to not let that happen again, so you remember that.
So the feeling is longing, and just the little logic, it fades away, and then you get reminded.
That's right.
So if you actually feel the fact that you're connected with everything, you get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, because you're gonna be gentle. Like, bro, if I'm going through a forest and you have that experience after like a huge epiphany on, you know, some mind-altering drug, DMT, shrooms, everything, you're gonna be more careful.
Yeah, they always help. Yeah,
you're gonna be more careful treading over everything that you fucking see in that forest, right? Oh shit, my fault, bro.
Exactly. My fault. Now you acknowledge that they're really alive.
Yeah,
and they're just alive, just like you're alive.
Yeah, but you're more careful, more considerate, more like compassionate. In a sense.
It's just, it will be like you're not even forcing it.
Yeah,
it's just happening because you're like, it's part of you.
Your perception is now attuned to where you see them as yourself, and you wouldn't want to harm yourself, so you treat everything
naturally,
with calmness.
Naturally, you're just taking care of everything.
That's radical, bro.
Yeah, so he's like, you want to do that to your children. Mm-hmm. So that they don't grow up being assholes, or like,
don't be a fucking asshole, kid.
Yeah, because you don't have to teach people to take care of the planet if the planet is part of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But nowadays, there's a lot of disconnect.
How would you teach that, though?
How would you teach that?
How would you teach that? Because it takes a certain level of intellect to experience all that, right? Because you're going off of experience and logic. You need to learn the logic, and you need to have experience in order to like actually practice that. Right. Do you not?
Yes. So you could logically tell them.
So you have to sculpt it pretty much. Is that what you're saying?
Of course. Okay. Of course. He's like when people say raising children, he always corrects them because he's like, you raise cattle, okay? You don't raise children. He's like, you culture your children, which is different from raising children.
Okay, so cultivate or culture?
It's almost the same thing, but cultivate works too.
Okay.
He's like, you allow them to flourish by providing the proper nourishment. Mm-hmm. That's what that is. And raise is literally just building them in a certain way. Mm-hmm. He's like, don't do that because that's limited. But if you raise them with nourishment, not raise them, but if you actually just give him nourishment and allow him to flourish,
you provide nourishment to which allows them to flourish. Yeah,
right. Like he's like, I don't tell him anything unless they ask.
That's amazing.
He's like, and he with his daughter, with Sadhguru,
but you're limiting to that, right? And if you don't, like you program your kid, you're influencing them, so you're limiting them in a sense.
Right. If
to
you're
what they
telling
can-
them how it is.
Right.
And no, you want them to ask you.
Okay.
And be like, hey, dude, why do you do this? And then that comes out of curiosity. And then now they're open to listen, you know? But if you're just sculpting them, you know what I'm saying? They're like building, legit what they're doing is just building them in a certain way. When they could just learn on their own, you know? And he's like, when he had his kid, he's like, don't tell her anything. Like, don't tell her what to do.
Yeah, don't give your advice.
Don't give no advice.
Yeah.
Like, don't give no answers to questions that haven't been asked. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, because that instills curiosity in them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they get to grow way bigger or way better than if you were putting them in a set path, like, this is how you should be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's like, don't do that.
But when curiosity gets out of control and you have kids asking you fucking questions all the time, being annoying ass little kids,
That shouldn't be annoying. But if it is, you should let them know in a particular way.
all right. So you
be
but you also
calm.
have to incorporate discipline in a sense of physical, like maintain. What do you call that? Demeanor. Right. Like you have to control your demeanor. So they have to learn now about how to demeanor and how to control.
Yeah, because if they're curious and then you're like, dude, you're annoying.
Yeah.
Then now they're never gonna be curious with you.
Exactly.
Because they're like, this guy.
Right. Because
Every time
that's
I'm
the wrong
curious, he's
attitude,
like,
right.
fuck off.
How do you have? It's the horrible. You just need patience for that curiosity. To
Yeah,
try to
so
answer
so
the
you can be
question.
like,
So,
you can, instead of giving them a negative emotional burst, just give them a calm, like, just save that question for later. Type thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, instead of like, I don't got time to do that right now. You know, be like, save that question for later. You know, and ask me again.
Okay.
You know, and like you have
That's
to,
beautiful.
you have to make it seem like you really want to hear it, but right now isn't the time. You know what I'm saying? But if you come out like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Then-
like stop asking me about why the fucking sky is blue.
Yeah,
like,
then
go play.
then you're minimizing their curiosity.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
and
like,
that's
oh, now I can't ask about that because
Exactly.
then that
They get
elicits
mad.
that response. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get you.
yeah. So you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. Hey,
Yeah.
you don't want to fucking do that, okay?
Don't do that to your kids, you bastards.
that.
It's always like that.
Yeah.
But so you can identify with the whole universe, or you can identify with your body. You know, and there's everything in between. You know, so you can identify with your family. You can identify with your culture, your nation, your fucking side of the earth, your hemisphere. It goes.
Can't you identify? For me, I identify through, and I relate. I shouldn't say identify. I relate through hard work. Like if you fucking work hard, if you're a grinder, if you
Right.
put in work, if you like sweating,
So
you're
that,
going
so you,
through it. Bro.
Yeah, so you see yourself as a hard worker.
Yes, and I see myself in other people, and that's why I relate to them because
so you're
I'm.
like, oh, hard worker.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I
like
got
me.
respect for you. Yeah, just like me.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
In that sense.
So that always helps, you know. So you gotta. He's like, you want to have the most infinite identity, because then that gives rise to the most infinite possibilities.
Right, and it's also the most common ground that you get that you two can relate to.
Right. So you have more possibilities to be relatable.
That's sick.
Yeah. And he's like, we have in India, they have children like identify with the darkness and what they don't know, so that they don't have fear for it. Because a lot of people fear what they don't know.
Facts. Aliens.
Right.
Reaction to aliens, reaction to ghosts, reaction to
Right.
anything they can't quantify. They're scared of shitless.
But he's like, you shouldn't do that because you don't know. So you just leave it at that. You know, if you don't know, you don't know, and then now you can go find out.
Okay, yeah, but that inspires your curiosity on some
Right.
level to where it makes you want to go find out.
Right.
What if there's no answer and you're just perpetually like unnerved by that fact? I guess you'll forget about it, but I mean, if you
Right. If there's
don't,
an answer, you can always find the answer. But if there isn't an answer, then you realize that it's an unanswerable thing, and you can settle with that.
it's something that is not meant to be answered.
Exactly. Yet. You know what I'm
Yet.
saying? So he's like, you
That's
wanna.
interesting.
They make them comfortable with what they don't know, and they make them comfortable with the darkness. Because if you have a mind that just keeps going crazy just because you don't know,
It's gonna manifest a bunch of shit in the darkness.
it's for no reason. And that's why people run up the stairs when they turn off the lights, and they're like, oh shit.
I did that as a kid all the fucking time, dude.
Yeah, and they're like, that's only because you're uncomfortable with the dark. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause-
You're comfortable with your mind in the dark.
no, but it's your mind is part of what you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay. I did that a little too. I see what it is.
Yeah. So like just that. It's
Right.
just you're uncomfortable with what you don't know. So your mind goes and tries to figure it out, even though it's a thing that you don't know.
Yeah.
That's why there's believers. You know what I'm saying? So there's a
I'm a believer.
Yeah. So
you can put that in there.
there's two kinds of people on this planet. There's the believers and the seekers. The seekers are the ones that say, I know and I don't know. Mm-hmm. The believers are the ones that make up assumptions about what they don't know.
Wow. Holy shit. I believe that I seek. I believe that I seek, but I should just seek. That's rad.
You know?
That's a true
because believe will lead you to stop there because you believe that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if you say I don't know, now you get to find out, dude.
That's an interesting correction, dude. That's why you never say I believe this, I believe that, unless you're 100% certain, right?
Because I seeked it.
Because you sought out the answer, and that answer is proven off of this, and is justified or explained.
Yeah, and those two are the religious people and the spiritual people.
Right.
The spiritual people are the seekers. The religious people are the believers.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
They're willing to settle with an assumption.
Say that one more time.
The religious people are the believers.
Not for the camera, not for me.
The religious people are the believers, and the spiritual people are the seekers.
You know which one you are. Fucking radical.
So Guru always mentions that. He's always like, don't be a believer because you're settled with assumptions. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy. Don't assume shit. What do assumptions make? Asses out of you and me. So don't make assumptions.
Right. You're like debating imaginary land. Mm-hmm. You know? Like when we're debating about demons and ghosts.
Yeah. That's fun.
Why I always that's why I always tell you, if you really want to know, let's go to a graveyard and sleep.
Let's do it.
Easy. You know what I'm saying?
Let's fucking do it, bro.
You're like, you want to know? Let's go find out.
I don't know about being followed home by no ghosts. We're going to have sage and all this kind of shit with us, bro. We're going to need to learn some shit for that. Because I don't want no motherfuckers coming following me home. I have good energy in my crib. I don't want any fucking negative energy.
Clothe yourself in lights. Just close your eyes and be like, I'm a being of light.
That's a good one. I'm a being of light with nothing but positive energies. Let's do this. Right. We need to get a little fucking recorder too. So we can hear. Yeah.
Oh, like.
So we can hear.
Demonic
anything that our ears cannot hear. That'd be rad. I'd be scared shitless if I met a legit angel, bro. I don't think I'd be legit like scared. I'd be. All right. What would happen? This is a good question. I've always wondered, bro. What would happen if you met an alien that is somebody you know, but then you find out that they're an alien, or you think they're an alien or something? I wouldn't say alien, but
are they chill?
Like shapeshifter, exactly.
Are they chill?
In your mind, they're chill.
Oh, so I know him and I think they're chill. Yes. It's like if you were an alien.
Exactly. Let's say if I'm a fucking alien.
I'll be like,
told you today,
I'll start asking questions.
Right.
I'll be like, so what kind of tech you got?
All right. So you'd be curious,
of course,
right?
Because I know you already, and I'm like, he's chill. He hasn't killed me.
That's crazy.
You all right. Like, he hasn't ate me.
He hasn't eaten me.
So he's not a predator.
So you'd be curious. You'd start asking questions first. You'd want to know
specifically, what can you do that I can't?
Why? Why does it make you? It's just curiosity, right?
Yeah, because there's limits.
You're naturally curious.
My limits is what I am.
Okay.
So I want to know what your limits are.
That's interesting.
You know?
Okay.
First, I'll be like, do you know about science? Mm-hmm. What kind of science you got?
What if they did some cool shit? You just taps your head, literally all the energy,
like all that stuff. I would want to know.
That'd be amazing. I'd be fucking. That'd be awesome. Just like on some. Have you seen Paul where he does that shit? That would be amazing. You want to?
I would really want to know what the fuck they know that we don't.
Yeah, I would want to know that shit too.
Because if they're a legit alien, then how do they get here?
Where do they come from?
Exactly. That's first I want to know. I know they came from another planet.
Yeah, how do they come from, or how do they get here? Where did they come from? Comes after.
Right. Yeah, I want to know how the fuck you got here. I don't care.
That's foreign to us, bro. We can't even get off this motherfucker. How did you get here?
Yeah, like it takes time for us to get to Mars. Couple months to get to Mars. So I'll be like, if there's an alien here, how? So they have some cool tech. Cool. You know what I'm saying? So they could have all kinds of tech that we don't.
Okay, so my question.
And now ask him, do you believe in God?
Yeah, my question would be: would your point of view change? Would you be more scared of them? Would you hold them in a higher position? Would you like?
That's why I'm asking these questions, to know if I should do that.
Okay.
You know, I'm trying to see where I'm at compared to them.
Interesting. So you're in a sense you're sizing yourself up in a natural in a natural responsive kind of way.
Right.
Like whoa.
Specifically if they're chill. Like you're saying I know them already. But and then I know where they let me know that they're alien. So they're already open to letting me know.
Okay, another question. Would you leave with them? If they're like, yo, bro, you want to leave? You want to leave this fucking rock and go explore?
First question is
everything?
like, can I come back?
No.
I'd be like, chill out, dude.
I mean, that'd be cool if you could come back, but you're not meant to, bro. Because
if I'm legit can't come back, then I'll be like,
reason.
You got videos?
That'd be cool.
You got videos?
I feel it. That's cool. I feel that too. But imagine going and coming back after you know everything, bro.
That's
One,
cool.
People are gonna think you're crazy.
I wouldn't tell anybody. Why would I tell anybody?
No one's gonna believe you in a sense. That would be horrible.
Yeah, don't tell people. Please don't tell people.
Don't tell people.
Government's gonna get you.
How would you not tell people? Do you know how hard that is to not tell people some shit that only you fucking know? That's so great.
I'll tell people that might believe me in my close circle. You know what I'm saying? They're open-minded.
Yeah, that's cool, bro.
People that are be like, he wouldn't lie about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
I'm not going to be telling everybody. That's for sure. And I'm not going to the internet. Yeah. Aliens took me. No, True. Definitely not. I don't want to put them in danger. Yeah. I don't want to put myself in danger.
That's very cautious. But I'm also meaning in the sense of like, let's say a time traveler goes to the future, learns some shit, goes back in time.
Yes.
That's dangerous. And that's what I meant. Like going to outer space or wherever the fuck, technically is time traveling. Then you're going back with all that fucking knowledge. That's dangerous. Is what I'm saying. So
it only depends because I could be capable, but it doesn't mean that I'll be able to do it. Because I might have the knowledge, but they might have infrastructure.
Nah.
That I can't.
Like
that I don't
how
have.
they built the pyramids using fucking sound. That is speculation, but we don't have any objects that use sound to move shit.
So they must have, if in that case, they must have developed, or they must have honed in to see what vibrations can truly do. Because they're like, everything's vibrating, which is a fact.
This is a fact.
So and then they're like, so how can we control that in a way that it will help us manipulate it in a way that it makes something weightless, and you can just push it and it slides, even though it weighs 10 tons.
That's fucking amazing.
You know, so it makes sense. But the alien shit, I'll be like, hey, I'll be asking so many questions.
Okay, so you're an enlightened individual, obviously. Any other person I would have asked this question to. What's Mars like? Well, how's the moon? Fucking, does Saturn really have rings? Like,
I don't care about that.
Dumb shit like that.
I was like, I don't want to know that. I can't know that just by you telling me anyways.
Right.
Like, you're just going to tell me something, I won't believe you?
Yeah, it's like, why is your skin red? Like, why the fuck are your eyes so big? What happened to your arms? Like,
it's like, hey, they're already chill and they look a particular way. I can't figure out why they look that way unless I'm a scientist that studies genes or genomes and shit like that.
But not everybody's enlightened as you, Alexis.
I'm sorry.
I'm fucking saying.
I'm not enlightened, John.
Bro, your natural response. I've had dreams of this so many fucking times, bro. Just going out and experiencing an alien invasion or just like a presence unknown to you that has a radiance bigger than your own size, which causes fear, and you're like, holy shit.
Fear is different, because if you're legit scared shitless, now you gotta be like
fucking something in the sky.
Yeah, now you gotta be like, am I a bitch? And then you gotta be like, decide right there on the spot, yes or no. So if you're a bitch, run away. If you ain't no bitch and you're trying to figure it out, you're gonna stay there and be like.
But you'd be stupid if you did try to stay there and figure it out and you died.
Hey,
would it make more sense to run away?
I'm one of the brave, stupid.
You'll stick it out and die just to see if you can fuck around and find out.
The thing is, like, let's say a spaceship lands.
Yes.
Right?
No. I'm not saying it lands, but saying if that bitch is in the circle and it is a sense of impending doom, like you don't know if that shit's gonna drop a bomb and explode the earth or if it's gonna fucking.
I can't do anything about that. I might die anyways. So
that's also true.
The best example would be like, let's say a spaceship does land.
Okay.
And then you see them. What do you do? Do you run away?
No, I express that I mean no fucking harm and that I would want to like peacefully learn why you're here and if I can help in any fucking possible way.
Right, I'll be like, if they wanted me dead, I'll be dead right now.
Exactly.
So,
bro, I don't got no beef with you. Please, I hope you don't got no beef with me or this planet.
Right.
please, what do you need? How can I?
I'll
You
be
need
like,
gas?
like, why are you here? I just want to know. I'm
For
curious.
sure,
You know what I'm saying?
yes.
I'm
That'd
not
be
gonna. I
cool.
can't kick you out. You obviously got
Yeah,
here.
exactly. You got here, bro. Like,
It's
who are
like
we?
you're not killing me, so I'm not killing you.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's good that you're not killing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is with aliens is that they could be any aspect of any animal that we got here.
Mhm.
They could be mindless,
Yeah.
like a fish. They could be predatory.
Like an octopus.
They could be a prey.
Like a fish.
You know, they could be all types of aspects.
Right.
And you're just betting on the fact that they could be those, and hopefully they're not the predatory kind.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But
there are though that are predatory out there.
Right, there's
I would
predatory
assume so.
animals, yeah, but mostly they're the ones that are mindless because they're not thinking of what's happening to that creature. They're just hungry.
Because they're operating off of instinct instead of off of intelligence or experience.
So if somehow that happens and they have low intelligence but high capability to the extent that they can build spaceships without thinking of others, problem.
You said low intelligence, high capability without thinking of others.
Yeah, like they have the ability to build shit mindlessly.
Oh,
And
yeah, that is a problem.
And they just came across the spaceship that they could build, and they just did it. And they're not like doing it for a particular reason. They're just like, we're just building spaceships because we want to go to another planet because our planet is dying and we need resources. And it's all our instinct.
Right.
Problem.
Invasive species.
Yes. So now, but if we have people like us, which is highly likely because we're intelligent and we're able to have rapport.
We're somewhat intelligent.
We're very intelligent. Okay.
You are very intelligent. I am not. I'm somewhat intelligent.
Some more than others.
Somewhat.
Some more than others.
Most definitely. Me.
Everybody can reach. Everybody can reach whatever level. It's all about being curious,
open-minded,
and willing to find out.
And logic. I guess wouldn't you agree that logic is also necessary? Like, a little sense
but
of
logic is built through curiosity. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but you use logic for lots of things. Actually, no, because what if you learn some shit that defies logic, and then you can't operate off of logic? So I guess that having an open mind. So,
right,
I'm going on.
Something
I'm
that doesn't
focus.
make sense, right?
Yeah.
Like if it doesn't make sense, you can't just throw it off and be like, so it's not real. If it's happening, it's happening.
Right.
Just because you don't get it, you have to put I don't understand it yet. You always put that at the end. Like, I'm not there yet. Always. Yeah. Because there's obviously the scientists that understand all kinds of shit that we might read and they might know what they're talking about, but we're like, I don't know what the fuck he said.
What the fuck did he say? Who the fuck knows?
You know what I'm saying? So we want to find the aliens that are intelligent to the extent that we are, to the point that they're like, oh, they're just people. You know what I'm saying? They're sentient beings.
They're civilized.
Yeah, they're civilized, yeah. They didn't just come across this technology by accident. They built it because they wanted to explore, you know?
You talking about them or us?
Them.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because we're not there yet.
Yeah, curiosity.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. We're heading to the aspect that we're like, okay, so there's other planets out there that are kind of like us. So we want to find out what they do.
What are those types? Like, isn't that like a type 1 civilization and type 2 civilization and like type 3 civilization? Is it something like that? Because
right.
I feel like there are different levels. Like,
there's different intelligence levels.
Yeah, civilization on planet, and then next level, I think the ones who can export and go off planet.
Yeah.
And then there's ones that go beyond that and go to multi-dimensional, like fucking Guardians of the Galaxy to us.
Right.
You know, like they hop through zones after zones after zones after zones after zones in different
and it's
fucking
all
shit.
Through influence, yeah. They're able to influence different ways.
Yeah, right.
Different things in different ways, yeah.
Trippy.
Because there's dimensions, as you said, and then it's mainly like they could just travel through time like we walk through space. It'll be crazy.
Yeah, or if they fold it or some shit.
You're right, but it's still part of our reality. They function just like they're still around right now, for example, and we're here. They're just capable of doing that. It doesn't mean that they're able to change the past or the future. You know what I'm saying? Because our future and the past is still that. They're just able to do that, and then we're here experiencing it in this particular way.
Right.
But we're still being influenced by them, whether they can travel the future or the past. It's just part of our
natural instincts.
We're just going forward, and they can go back and forth. We don't have the capability of doing that.
Oh, we can only go forward. They can go back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if that would actually change.
It has changed. Watch The Simpsons.
Exactly.
Motherfuckers be going back in time, fucked up the whole timeline. Now everything, the past, present, and future is now happening all at once.
Right. And then there has to be the smart ones.
Speculation.
There has to be like smart types that are like, don't touch anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't touch
It's like, please don't touch anything. You know what I'm saying? And then all that kinds of shit. So you're hoping for those to be out there. But then you're probably the most sensical is the one that there's both. There's the ones that are coming to get you, and there's the ones that are like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be the super smart ones that are able to protect you from the ones that are like not so smart but capable.
But malicious.
Yeah. Right. Which is a problem.
Dumb but malicious.
I'm gonna take a piss.
Break time, motherfuckers! Intermission. So, cool shit. If I met an alien, I would try to be as understanding as possible, which is cool shit. If I met a vampire, now that's a problem. Because I'd be understanding, but like, I don't know, you kind of kill people. And if you feed off of their whatever force, life force, it's kind of bad, dude. Don't do that. I'm kidding. I don't believe in vampires. Who knows? Vampires may exist. Look at Keanu Reeves. Look at fucking Nicolas Cage. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I have no idea. This is horrible. Keanu Reeves is such a fucking great person too. And then everybody knows Nicolas Cage, but Keanu Reeves, man, he doesn't deserve any bad shit on his name. He's a G, bro. Such a humble guy too. If I could go to space, it would probably be. No, if I could go to space, it would probably be with an invitation by like higher life forms. Yeah, do you want to go visit the stars? Yeah, sure, dude. Let's go. But yeah, man, that attachment, it'd be hard to leave because I would want to come back too, like what Alexia said. Would I be able to come back? I would, because a lot of my attachments are here. You'd be a real kind of piece of shit if you could just up and leave everybody and everything in a pursuit of just knowledge. Because what is knowledge without, purpose? Boom. Intermission over.
Let me check on these. 1 hour and 3 minutes.
An hour in, bro? Doesn't even feel like an hour. It feels like 45 minutes.
It feels like near 30 minutes.
Another 30 minutes of talking?
Yeah.
Fucking. Oh shit.
Let me look at the topics I want to talk about. You want to talk about dopamine? We talked about dopamine.
Yeah, we talked about the good days and bad days. So have good days and bad days, my friend. Don't be afraid of the bad days. And then always enjoy the good days.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, what'd you get?
So why do you think that God doesn't just come out here and make everything perfect? Like, why?
We exist inside God's mind. Let's put that in a perspective. I like that. I like that
Hey,
analogy.
you got from me.
I don't care. I thought that was a great analogy. I'll say it right here now. That belongs to this guy. Well, it could belong to somebody else, but I got that thought from this guy right here, bro.
Hermes Trismegistus, the Kabbalion.
The Kabbalion. Go search that shit up. But anyway, I appreciate that perspective because that is absolutely right. Well, not sensical. Absolutely right, but it makes the most sense to me.
Right, it's the most sensible.
It's the most sensical thing that I could like explain and understand. Because why can't we understand we have a theory that God is real, that there's a higher power, there's a force that caused the Big Bang. We don't know what the fuck caused it, right?
Right.
There is a force that is just pushing on. We call it existence. It could be whatever the fuck, but we don't. It could be defined as something else. God could be, or what we know as God could be influencing existence in His own image. In that sense.
That's above, so below. That's a rule.
Exactly. And so the reason why we cannot physically manifest or touch Him is because we are His thoughts. That makes the most fucking sense because
you can get very close, but you can't become Him.
Exactly.
Because you're but a thought.
Yeah, exactly. So we are His thoughts, and that makes us a thought. We are but a thought, in a sense. Fucking Mark Twain said that shit.
It was Satan, actually.
Yeah, Satan said it, but Mark Twain, whatever. It was from Mark Twain. It was
The Adventures of Mark.
Yeah, no, but it was the uninvited guest or the fucking mysterious stranger, I think.
Oh yeah.
It was a mysterious stranger by Mark Twain. That shit's radical. Anyway.
Oh, so why don't you think He just fixes everything?
Well, because that goes. Okay, so what I understand is like influence for a reason has to be. I don't know, that goes back to like free will in a sense.
Yeah,
Like,
like
he wants us
always...
to have our own free will to an extent for us to be able to do shit in our own way.
Right.
But he doesn't want to like directly influence it, because then we would become dependent. We would be like, yo.
Exactly. He doesn't want you to know. He wants you to have faith. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Trust in me that it's true.
So he's always leaving this little doubt.
Yeah.
So that he's testing you. It's like a little test. So he's like, miracles, you know? Mm-hmm. Miracles are somehow never proven. Mm-hmm. Because God is doing that on purpose. Mm-hmm. He's like, have faith. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If it's real, it's real, dude. Like, if you think I'm real, I'm there, dude.
There you go.
If you don't think I'm there, then
I ain't there.
Exactly. So he's like, have faith.
Have faith.
Because if you don't, then... And he always testing that. That's why he doesn't just appear in front of you, because then you don't get to have faith.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Now you know.
And he's like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
He's like, there's no point in that. Because now you're like, hey, God, do this, dude.
Yeah.
Because I know you're there, fuck. You know what I'm saying?
That's horrible.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's why there was like, God works in mysterious ways. The mystery is that you're never truly going to know. Mm-hmm. But have faith.
But have faith that it's real.
Right.
Or true.
And then how do you think the idea of God came?
Now that's a good question.
So what experience did somebody have to come up with, like, there has to be a God?
Oh shit!
There has to be.
In my case, it's miracles. It's events that could not be explained, but it happened. To your knowledge, it could not have happened, but it happened anyway.
But it's unexplainable.
Yes, okay. And me, I would believe that there's a... Okay, so let me give you an example. There's a man who's driving, seized up, and he legit seized up, and he passed out on, like, car going fucking 80 miles an hour.
Not good.
Not good. And you see the steering wheel, like, no one's influencing. Obviously, he's fucking dead asleep. There's no wires. You can't explain this, dog. And this is what I define as a miracle.
Because... it, like, stayed...
No. It moved and fucking directed itself away from oncoming traffic.
Jesus
and
took the wheel,
bro, legit definition of Jesus took the wheel, bro. So I was like, and he comes back out of, he's like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, and he recovers and like just, bro, because there was video. I'm like, oh, bro, he's gonna crash because he was on course with the street. Right. Then you see the steering wheel start to turn, and he's just slumps like this, not doing a fucking thing. And you see the wheel turning itself. I'm like, dog. You can't explain that.
Yeah, that's when the only way to explain it is that somebody did it, and it's the only one.
Yeah, you could argue the terrain underneath was guided or like somehow, some way.
But that'll be lucky.
Yeah,
that's still you're living it to.
Yeah,
it's just some mystical shit.
And that also goes into just because miracles can be explained doesn't make it any less of a miracle.
Right.
It's still a fucking miracle.
Like if it happens, it happens.
So then there'll be like the best way, like not
just person, but somebody that knows there's God, not somebody that believes
there's a God.
No, somebody that knows. They'll be like, it wasn't their time. It was like, and God didn't. He knows it's not the time yet. Mm-hmm. He's like, they got shit to do. Yeah. So it's part of the plan. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's another question or topic that we could go into, bro, about the time, because you could argue, bro, why make someone live so long? Like old people, why aren't they called sooner? Well, why make them live through so much life? Why make them old? Like at that point, it's literally pain. Is it a punishment at that point?
It depends.
Are you such a piece of shit that you don't get to die a graceful death? You got to live till you're old until your body literally just fails.
Well, I think everybody dies that way.
Or is that like some people die? You know what I mean?
That's lucky. That's lucky.
Is it though?
Yes, because you want to die before your kids. Nobody wants to die.
But do you want to die every day or like live in pain? In like serious pain?
No,
like when you're about to die.
That is your fault. For the most part, if you die old and in pain, it's because you didn't take care of yourself. And God gave you all the tools.
I don't believe that. I mean, yes, but at the same time,
if you're literally dying when you're 95,
yeah,
and the last 5 years were full of pain, it's because you were unhealthy your whole life. Which is, you could say, is a curse by God, but God literally gave you the nourishment.
I do see.
Yeah, God gave you the nourishment, the knowledge to take care of your body and do everything you can. So why didn't you do it? You know what I'm saying?
I'd love to ask her. I'm going to space now. My personal experience with my grandma.
That happens. Most people are ignorant, and they're like, I'll live my life the way I want to. You know what I'm saying? And that happens a lot. But then you gotta know that if you don't seek health, you don't get health. If you don't seek financial independence, you don't get that.
Somehow you could argue that she did, and that's why she got to live so long. But being that fucking old, your bones hurt. You know, you're just
you know it's not always like that.
For the most part, though, it is. Just because, like, not every motherfucking old-ass person is going to be jogging, staying in shape. Yes, you can do that to prevent all those things that happen when you do get that age. Because there are old people who are, like, fit. But that's not every case, bro. Right. When you die, you stop. You literally shrink and die.
Yes, but it mainly happens because we have a normal, like, the normal aspect of us aging is that we become frail. Right,
your muscles atrophy, shit gets weak. Time makes you weaker.
So this is an example. Okay. God gave you that information, and you see it all around you.
Right.
So do something fucking about it.
Right.
That's it.
Yes, you can, but fuck, bro.
I go to the gym. I see old people. They're in the gym, but they're hunched.
Yes.
And incapable.
Yes.
And then I see another old person, buff. Fully capable, probably around the same age. One realized it earlier. One is realizing now.
You speak facts. You do speak facts.
And the only reason why you get to know that is so you do something about it.
Yeah, that's very blunt to say that they could have done something about that due to their old age. It is facts. It's just that's hard truth.
Unless you die from a cancer. That's random.
Yeah.
That's like.
Is it? Listen to what you just said. Isn't that random? When we're talking about being called now by when it's your time. Is it random or is it calculated?
That goes into your that time. Too. No, well, it's your time then because if you truly die, you know what I'm saying? Or it's a little warning of God telling you, I could take your life at any second.
But why?
It's a reminder. It's a reminder. It's like you're not doing enough.
Why were people taken so soon then?
That's for you to know. You're eventually gonna figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe they were done. There's nothing else for them to do. They're like, we're done here. You know what I'm saying? There's no more to do. You know what I'm saying? But you get all this. You get to experience old age from a second perspective a lot.
It's like a warning in a sense, right?
It's a way of letting you know that that's what's gonna happen
if you don't take care of yourself.
Yes, like the same thing. Like I listen to all this information because I want to know how I work, and from understanding the way I work, I get to know how others work. You know what I'm saying? And then seeing how others work, I get to know how I would like to work, or where I could head to. And for example, top diseases are heart attacks, strokes, cancers, and the hardening of the arteries. Diabetes and all this stuff, and there's a way to mitigate that. If you don't know that sugar will fuck up your body to the point they'll give you diabetes, you don't get to do nothing about it. But now you have the information at your hands. You can Google it. What causes diabetes? Boom, it says too much sugar in your blood. Boom, so do something about it. And then now you can look up how come that your arteries become hard. Because that's the main causes for strokes and heart attacks. Because you have a little tiny ball that can't get through the hole. But if your arteries get to be elastic,
the ball passes through easier.
You get a better chance.
Right.
It's not 100 because then it could get stuck in a narrow vein or something. Right. Yeah. But now you have a better chance. So you look up what causes hardening of the arteries, and then now you get to do something about it. You know. And you get all this information. But if you have the information and do nothing about it, you will get the consequences. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do something about it, or you don't. Most people just fuck up too early. You know? So shit happens.
Yeah.
And most people get to find out because they're cautious. Even though they didn't know what to do, they knew that they shouldn't do particular things because they saw it in others. They were like, well, they were like this their whole life. And it led to this. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, if you have grandparents or other old people in your life, you're like, how come they're fine? Or how come they're old? You know what I'm saying? Because there's young people that get cancers, and then you have grandparents that live to 90.
Yeah.
And you're like, how? And then you're like, they must be doing something, or they're lucky.
Yeah, or they're lucky.
You
Because
know what I'm saying?
unluckiest motherfucker could be healthy with a fucking disease. So we've seen it happen.
Right. So it's like, what happens? You know? And now you get to, now they tell you how cancers work. They get to tell you how all diseases work. Like, and that information allows you to at least do something about it. But if you do nothing, you're in trouble. You know?
You a bitch.
But with what, like, you know, how I ask you, where did the first thought of God came from? You know? So my guess would be because it comes in the Bible. Some people try to explain it.
Let there be light.
Kind of. Well, they're like, there's stuff that you can do. Everything you can do, you're doing.
Yeah.
And everything you're not doing, who's doing that? God. You know what I'm saying?
So God's making the sun revolve around the stars?
You're not doing it.
Of course not.
So who's doing it?
God's making us the air breathable. We're fucking it up, but God still made it breathable for us.
Yeah. But then it's either, you could say God.
Time? What about time?
Time is just you moving forth.
Is our... Well, no, fuck. We've been over this.
It's a super abstract concept. So that's why they just said space-time continuum. Instead of just space and time, it's space-time. Now it's one.
Because time is a construct of measurement, right? So it's
right.
Like how we measure shit.
And you can't move anywhere without time.
Right.
You're just still forever.
Exactly.
So they are like, it needs to be space-time because if there's just space, you can't move through it unless there's time. So they're tied.
In the space-time continuum, right? Yeah. That's why they say that.
So they're like, everything that you're not doing, the universe is. So that's an example of God. And that's mainly where that first aspect of God is out there. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're not breathing, who's breathing? God is breathing for you. You know what I'm saying? When you're sleeping and you can't breathe for yourself, you know?
You can't consciously control your breathing.
Yeah,
God built your body. God built your body so you can subconsciously still breathe.
Yes. Somebody's doing that.
Somebody's doing it.
Somebody's doing it. It doesn't have to be a guy. It's an energy. You know what I'm saying? But something arrived at that point that's allowed. So everything you're not doing, you could give it to God. You know what I'm saying? But everything you're doing is all you. And everything you can do, you should do. You know? Because God gave you that power, for example. Unless you're the guy that is like, there's no God, the universe does.
Right, hold on. You just said
the universe is doing it.
You just said you should do everything
that you can.
That you can do. You should do everything you can do.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. You should put within reason or like within the right
Why?
morals.
What? No.
You know what I'm saying? Because just because you should do something doesn't mean you should.
Well, yeah, right. We already went over this though. If you are identified with the whole universe, you don't have to worry about morals because everything is for the universe. You can't go against the universe because you're going against yourself.
Okay, so that's already incorporated in there. I forget about these things.
Yeah, so you need, if you're for the universe, you're for, and the universe is you're for yourself. So you're now here trying to do malicious shit because you're good. So now you get to do everything you can. You know what I'm saying? The best example is like when the old people shit. You see it and you know there's something you can do, or at least you get to find out. So you do something about it. You know. Like the knees over toes guy, he's like, my knees were fucked. And I was like, there has to be something I could do about it. That's how he saw it. And he had surgeries in both of his knees. And he's like, people were like, there's nothing that would get you to the point where you were before. You're fucked. He was like, how about fuck you?
How about fuck you?
He's like, I'm going to figure that shit out. There has to be some way for me to fix my shit. So then he developed his legs properly, the muscles that he actually needed. Now he's even better than he was even before he got the injuries. And that's because he figured that he could do something about it. And he just did everything he could. You know?
Fucking radical.
That's one example.
Makes sense, motherfuckers.
But you're worried about morals because you're worried about the people that are doing malicious shit. Because they have a self-identity, only with themselves, the body. They're like, everything in my body is me. Everything outside my body, irrelevant. So whatever happens to that is whatever. But if everything outside of you is also you, you know? There's no reason for morals. Everything is good because you're for the universe, not against it.
I feel it.
Unless I'm wrong, John.
No,
Say something.
No, the reason why my brains are turning is because it sounds like it's put in a utopian society setting where I'm blending it with our now fucked up and malicious society that I'm so used to, bro. You know why I'm so used to like the malicious shit that people are capable of?
Yes.
Is because of how fucking bad times have gone. It's like relative. It could be worse. I'm grateful for the times that are good, but at the same time, bro, like that shit is scary.
It's mainly from people that it's beliefs. The best things happen because of beliefs, and the worst things happens because of belief. Somebody believes they're doing good, and they're doing bad.
But if enough people believe the wrong thing, then you're fucked.
Right. That's why we need to stop the belief bullshit and just say you know or you don't know. This is the race we're in, and we're like, bitch. You don't know. Just say you don't know.
Say you don't know, bitch.
That's why we got. That's like a little mind virus. That belief for shit.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, say I think instead of I believe, because you're saying my assumption is. Shut the fuck up. Just say I know or I don't know.
That's funny because we've been taught in school, we've been taught differently.
To believe,
We've been taught to believe.
No.
Say I believe instead of I think. It's
a problem.
Funny.
It's a problem.
Bro, fucking. I'm fucking saying
it's a problem.
Don't listen to shit you hear in school, man. That shit's fucked.
That like you gotta think for yourself. You gotta think for yourself. And then the belief part only comes with faith.
They legit taught us the exact opposite growing up. Does that not fuck with you a little bit? Like,
I mean, I've been through it.
Wow, bro. I haven't. This is me coming to that conclusion. Like, holy shit, bro.
Like, I went over this and I was like, wait a minute, because I listened to so much Saguru, and he always talks about that. He's like, stop that belief bullshit. It's just assumptions. Yeah. And they're leaving you astray, because you're literally stopping where you weren't supposed to stop. You're stopping too early because you decided you believe instead of finding out.
So you limit yourself. That's that limitations we were talking about.
That's why we have so many ignorant people.
Yes.
Because they choose to believe.
They stop seeking.
Yes.
They choose to believe, and they stop seeking the truth because they believe what they hear is the truth.
Yes. Yeah.
Fuck!
That's why people like Jordan Peterson are important, and people like Andrew Huberman are important, because Jordan Peterson, instead of saying, well, I believe Jesus walked on water, he's like, no, obviously people don't fucking walk on water. So what did they mean?
He mastered his emotions.
You know? So he always comes like that. He's like, he comes to reality and he's like, obviously people don't fucking walk on water, dude. So they must have been trying to tell me something in a particular way.
Yeah, or from wine, or from water to wine, he could have changed their minds.
It's all this stuff. It's all this stuff. So
I don't know. I'm just talking about speculation.
That's an example. That's an example. So he's always like, dude, you can't just stop what you believe, because you lead to assumptions. Because all the people that, like, every terrorist is doing what they're doing because they believe they're doing good. Or everybody that's doing malicious shit is because they believe they're doing good. Yeah. So, but they don't know. That's the problem. And they're not comfortable with saying, I don't know. That's why where Saguru is from, they teach the kids to be okay with it.
Okay with that, yeah.
Because if not, they lead you to these situations where they do all kinds of malicious shit to prove that they're right. Yeah. Even though they literally don't fucking know.
Yeah. To quote on that, that's actually not a feature, but that's a characteristic or whatever, whatever you want to call it. I kind of it's used horribly because I can hide behind that, and then I can also use it to be just upfront and honest. Like on my sense, how I'm using it when I'm working at Best Buy, fucking talk to people and shit, and then what was I talking about?
We're talking about Saguru, and then how he was.
Oh yeah. Fucking the fact that you don't know shit. Okay, so I was talking to this person, and then they always ask fucking dumbass questions, right? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, honestly, like, I don't know. And sometimes they're irritating about it. And like, bro, I don't fucking know. All right. And then there are people that are like, could you tell me, like, if this accepts this speed, or is this the right shift for that? I'm like, All right, I'm gonna be really honest with you here. I do not know, and I'm not really well versed with computers or phones and shit. I'm admitting to you, bro, I know nothing, and I'm okay with that.
So you get the guy.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, but there's a guy. He knows he's right over there.
Like, you go over here. This guy knows that.
Yeah, and then they're like, because it was funny shit too, because she was like, no, it's all right here, and I'm like, I can ring shit out. They can tell you about the phones, like, and it's almost like in a sense where I said I use it as an escape or a hiding mechanism is because when you're at fucking Best Buy, you have these people ask you,
right, you're fine with that.
You gotta find and deal with their bullshit. You gotta go find out what they're looking for. You gotta do some bullshit. So a lot of people hide behind, I don't know, figure it out. So
exactly. Yeah.
It's fucked up. It's bullshit. It's the way shit has now. The way standards have fallen. But at the same time, it's just like an easier way to hide behind it. It's a defense mechanism. Like, bro, I don't know. Go figure that shit out yourself. People are like, oh, this guy doesn't know. Let me go find somebody who does. You know.
Exactly. They're gonna do that.
Exactly. But in a sense, some people appreciated the fact like, oh, you're telling me you legit don't fucking know. Let me go find somebody who does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess one is put in a more positive connotation rather than a negative one. So I guess it's all based
it's like I'm fine with not knowing because I literally don't.
Yeah, I really don't.
Yeah, and the girl always brings that up. He's like, people come to me because they're basically trying to go where I've been. You know, so he's like, I can tell them, I can guide them because I've been there, and they haven't, and they acknowledge that. So now they can walk with me, and they feel safe. You know, so I can tell them all this stuff, and they can. It's sensible to them instead of just trying to figure that out on their own and take years. He's like, I'm here now. Ask me your question. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, if I know this, it's because I've been there, and if I don't, it's because I haven't. And he'll tell you that. He's like, I don't know. He's like, if you ask him science questions, he'll tell you what he knows, and he'll be like, but that's all I know. After that, I don't know. Go ask scientists. Yeah. You know? So he's like that. Nice. He's comfortable with not knowing because what he knows is useful to him, and what he doesn't know, he can find out. Always. If it's needed. You know what I'm saying? So it's always like that. Okay, you should be comfortable with what you don't know if it's not a thing that you even wish to know. Yeah. You know? If you're like, I don't really care about that. Okay. Okay, that's fine. You know? Talk to the guy though. He knows everything.
That fucking guy knows everything right over there. He knows.
Exactly.
Fuck that guy.
And you should be fine with that because you're capable of certain things. He's capable of certain things. Yeah. And that's where we're a bunch of people instead of just that one guy. Yeah. Because if it was just one guy, he knows everything. That's God, dude. But
nobody's God, dude.
And right here, we're all a little part of it for that specific reason that we have different capabilities. And the worst part is that God made you forget. Because you are God, but God was like, I'm going to limit my memory. So now you got to figure out what God is, you know, even though you are God. So it's like, how do you figure it out? And that's as close as you can get. When you figure it out, that's as close as you can get to God until you die. Now you become God.
No shit.
Yeah. But it's like you can get very close. Like almost like you're about to touch it.
It's like, but then nope. It's so close. But it's all good. You'll get there.
But you don't get to touch it until you die.
Until you die. Yeah. So don't go die, but go live your life to the fullest. Now you know. Go do shit.
Live for God.
Hey, what was that one thing he said? Wake up in the morning. What could I do for God today? Like, what can I do to appease God?
Right. It's like, what can I do for God?
Live by that shit, bro.
Do something
Wake up and do something about it. You can fucking do it. I know you can.
Motherfucker. All right, ready?
Ready?
Cool, dude.
All right, dude.